There are a number of slides we're going to look at today. So instead of showing our traditional slide where we kind of look at grid prices and Bitcoin priced in dollars per megawatt hour, which by the way has been phenomenal. I'm looking right now, it's over $100. That is Bitcoin priced in dollars per megawatt hour. Grid prices at this moment are not that far behind, $90 over in PJM Penelec, and about $82 here in PJM PP&L. Instead of getting too deep into that, what I want to do is I want to address a question that was asked on Twitter by Embro. Hey, Embro, I think your name might be Matt. I'm not sure. With that said, Matt or Embro asks, I think, a very good question, which, and I'm paraphrasing it, this isn't an exact quote. Hey, check out this chart. And by the way, let's pull up that slide right now. Let's pull up the slide chart. Okay, so we're taking a look at this chart, and Embro highlighted that, hey, I think this is maybe where that CoinDesk article got its information from. Okay, so as you can see, it says the cost of Bitcoin production among major public mining operations. And as you can see, Stronghold Digital Mining, SDIG, is listed as among the lowest. Okay, I mean, at least in this chart, it seems to actually be the lowest as of Q1 2023. Back to me, please. So, that chart, and so the question is, hey, do I believe this? What are my thoughts on this? So just by way of a little bit of context, let's pull up the next slide, please. So this is the original article. It appeared on CoinDesk, and basically it says Bitcoin halving is coming and only the most efficient miners will survive. The subheadline says, only the miners with the lowest energy costs and most efficient equipment will survive the once every 4 years event. This was published on June 7th, 2023. Okay, next slide, please. So within that article itself, this is sort of the relevant paragraph. Operators with higher production costs per Bitcoin will have a more difficult time surviving the halving. Now, according to data compiled by Zhao, Stronghold Digital Mining, Cypher, and Riot have the lowest costs of production, with Stronghold at $8,200 per Bitcoin, Cypher at $8,600, and Riot at $10,400, at least right as of the first quarter of this year. Back to me now, please. Now, at the time that this came out, you have to understand, right? I'm looking at a lot of data points. I'm looking at a lot of different things that are being published not only by Stronghold Digital Mining, but by a variety of sources. So, I think it's important to temper what I'm about to say with the following, okay? I tend to look at stuff and at face value, I'm like, okay, you know what? Hey, it's a data point. It's interesting. Certainly, I have every bit of confidence that the research methodology that's used to come up with these numbers is very thoughtful. I have zero reason to believe that that these numbers were just produced by a random number generator or anything like that, okay? I really do think a lot of time, effort, and energy went into producing these numbers. So do I believe that these numbers are sincerely calculated? I do. I absolutely do. Do I know with absolute certainty whether or not, what was the number cited, like $8,200 per Bitcoin? I mean, that's a very, very precise number. That's the kind of precision I would almost expect from, being on site and literally seeing, the data that's coming in real time. It's a very precise number. So all I think I'm attempting to say is, hey, you know what? This looks really encouraging. I have every reason to think that this is a really good number. And by the way, let's pull up the next slide, please. So as you can see here, we actually had a situation where on June 9th, the official Stronghold Digital Mining Twitter account actually cited this quotation right from that CoinDesk article. Now, bear in mind, retweets or things like this, it's not necessarily like an official endorsement, right? But I do think it's noteworthy that the official Stronghold Digital Mining Twitter account chose to highlight that particular news article. Okay, back to me now, please. Now, So in that context, right, in the totality of all of that information, yeah, I mean, I'm 100% comfortable getting behind the time, effort, and energy, right, that was put forth to research that number by the individuals, right, who did the research. I've, again, no reason to doubt that. Now, here's what's kind of fascinating. Let's pull up the next slide, please. All right, so as you can see, we have a Fortune magazine article. And it says the following. And by the way, this was published on July 8th, 2023. So about a month after that CoinDesk article came out. It says Bitcoin miners will struggle to survive the next halving event amid electricity costs, debt payments. Back to me now for a split second. You know, I need to highlight this. It's true, right? If I'm a Bitcoin miner that's publicly traded, and what I essentially attempt to do is to, plug machines into a wall, so to speak, right? And hope that I can maybe get a good deal through a power purchase, agreement, or, that maybe energy costs will kind of go in my favor. That's certainly one approach to Bitcoin mining. Another approach is to actually own and operate your own energy assets, right? Your own power source. And that's what's so incredibly exciting about what Stronghold Digital Mining is all about. I mean, it's at least one of the many exciting things that this company is all about. So we actually have a tremendous amount of control over our, energy costs. Now, hey, listen, owning and operating incredibly complex, power plants, right? This is not easy work. And I want to give special credit to those of you on the power plant teams. You know who you are. I mean, you guys have your hands full a lot of the time, and I know that there's a lot of moving parts. And so, it's not an easy task, but it just gives us as a company, right, a lot more flexibility in our ability to essentially control our own energy costs, right? It's not just like, hey man, I'm gonna plug a Bitcoin mining machine into a wall and let's just, hope and pray that the electric bill won't be too high next month, that sort of deal. Okay, let's pull up the next slide. So this is from within the actual Fortune magazine article, right? It says, if you count in everything, the total cost for certain miners is well above Bitcoin's current price, added Wolfie Zhao, head of research at the Miner Mag, a research arm of mining consultancy Bloxbridge. Net profits will turn negative for many miners with less efficient operations. Okay, back to me now, please. So again, this is another data point. When we talk about the original article, right, that appeared on CoinDesk, which referenced Wolfie's research, right? Wolfie Zhao's research, right, which is part of the Miner Mag. Again, that's one data point. Now we have Fortune magazine running a story that talks about this issue, and now we get a little bit more insight as to the type of depth of research that was conducted, right, to try to figure this stuff out. Now, bear in mind, even if Stronghold Digital Mining is in the top 3, the top 4, the top 5, that's still phenomenal, okay? The fact that we happen to be, at least for Q1 2023, as computed by this research team, happen to have been the lowest cost producer, so to speak, I mean, that's phenomenal. But I don't want us, right, psychologically and emotionally to get hung up on like, oh my gosh, we fell to number 2, that's it, we're out of business. That's not the case, okay? So, to come back to Embro's question, hey, what's my opinion on this? What do I think about all this? I think that this research is very, I have no reason to believe this research wasn't done with incredible care for accuracy, an incredible respect for truth, and with a very deep conviction that the information that's being published is as reasonably accurate as can be, okay? The fact that the official Stronghold Digital Mining Twitter account, made the decision to highlight the original CoinDesk article, again, I think that at least suggests that, hey, this is research that's being conducted. It speaks favorably of Stronghold Digital Mining. There's no reason, at least for me, to doubt the veracity of that research. And so, you know what? As of right this moment, I'm 100%, willing and happy and comfortable and confident to get behind this. I mean, now we have CoinDesk talking about this issue. Now we have Fortune magazine talking about this issue. It'd be great if the Wall Street Journal or maybe CNBC, heck, even in the New York Times, right? I mean, like the more attention that the entire Bitcoin mining sector gets, right? In the sense of, hey, you know what? Let's talk about who some of the efficient, low-cost producers are. We know that Stronghold Digital Mining is going to be in that conversation. And, hey, obscurity isn't really helpful for us, okay? If we could magically, be in front of 25 million people with this type of data, I suspect that our stock would reflect the fact that there are 25 million new potential investors in our company who are now kind of excited and thinking, hey, wait a minute, yeah, I don't want to put my money into a Bitcoin mining operation that might not make it through the halving. I'd rather be in a company that at least has, right, based on this research, has the positioning to kind of make it through the halving. So that's going to be all for this particular update. I know that I really kind of drilled down on this one topic, but it's a really big deal, okay? Because the halving is going to happen. I mean, it's not like, hey, maybe we could avoid the halving or it won't happen. No, it's going to happen. So I think it's critical that we talk about this because it's already being talked about. We're just joining the conversation that's already taking place. And in this instance, I think it speaks very favorably for that which, the company Stronghold Digital Mining, what we as a company, right, are doing. And so that's really good news. The stock price didn't look too bad today. So, take it a day at a time. So until next time, as always, let's please try to stay positive. Let's always strive for greatness. Let's strive to be great. And we'll see each other again tomorrow.